Well, good evening. Good evening. How's everybody doing? I have Missy
Good.
and Macy here with me. This is going to be an exciting evening. And we're already getting some people joining in with us, so that's pretty awesome. Hey, Jeremy Gifford, how you doing? Jeremy Gifford, he's I Got Your Six Appliance, and he is an incredible guy. Thanks for joining us, Jeremy. And so Macy and Missy. So these two incredible ladies have been a bit part of my life now for a couple years now.
Yes.
And they're exceptional women who are great at doing coaching and training. We all met through John Maxwell. So I'll let you introduce yourself a little bit. Tell us a little about who you are.
Absolutely. I'll go first, Miss, if that's
Go
okay.
ahead. Yeah.
So I am Macy DelValle. Missy and I work with John Maxwell as program advisors, helping people that are interested in his coaching program. But about 3.5 years ago, we started our own corporate training business called Mpactful Messages. And most people, quite frankly, Jason, get confused with the Macy and Missy. So they just call us M&M. And we've embraced it. So if you need to just call us M&M, that's fine too.
I love it. I love it.
And I am Missy Washam. I am the other M of the M&M. I have been working with Macy and Maxwell for about 8 years, and we love what we do. Macy's in Florida. I'm in Mississippi, and somehow we meet up about every 2 weeks or so, Macy, right? And do some training or some event. So we have a lot of fun.
That's pretty incredible. Well, I'm looking forward to this evening. And then as those come on and watch the replay, we're going to have some exciting topics that we're going to be talking tonight about. We're going to be talking about your attitude in business, helping you with some goal setting. One of the things I'm really excited to talk about is the fear of growth or the fear of success and how to overcome that. So before we get started, I always like to ask a couple questions. So I'm just going to ask you both, like, what's your favorite motivational quote and who's it by and why? Why is that?
All right, Missy, you want to go first on this one?
Yes, I'll go first, but I think mine is like an anon, or maybe it's I'm not sure. Confucius, maybe, but I'm not sure. But it's that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
Ooh,
because I think anything that we want to do, whether it's growth or starting a new business or pursuing a new relationship or hobby, anything that we want to do, we don't know how far it's going to take us. But if you don't take the first step, you'll never know.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Be better if I knew who it was, quoted by. But
well, maybe if someone's watching, they'll Google it and they'll let us know who it's by. This is an interactive show, right, Jason?
Yeah,
so
that's for sure.
We'll get
if you
some
got
audience
questions or comments, let us know. Yeah, for sure.
So I'm going to go with the John Maxwell one that, I feel like there's different versions of this one. I just saw this one on Insta the other day. The greatest gap between successful people and unsuccessful people is that successful people take action. So similar, right, to what Missy was saying, you have to take the first step. But so many people, I think, get caught in the one day, someday, or they're thinking about it, dreaming about it, wanting to do it, but they don't act with intention. They just have the idea. So,
that's a good one too. Yeah, John Maxwell. Wow, what an incredible! I remember seeing him for the first time in person, and I was captivated by him and how he talked. It was crazy because I had heard of him, but I never actually saw him and listened to him. So when I actually got to meet him for the first time, he was like, "So how long you been, a follower of John Maxwell?" And he's talking in the third person. I'm sitting here thinking, okay, that's kind of cool in a way. And I said, well, actually, to be upfront, I didn't really know of you before today. I knew of you, but I didn't know you. So it was pretty exciting to get to meet him. I'm actually one of his pictures is up on top here when I got to meet him. So, and you guys get to work with him all the time.
We do get to see him a lot, and it's really special to have that relationship. But I'm similar to you, Jason. I did not know who he was until I came to work at Maxwell Leadership, but I always am so embarrassed by that. How do I not know him? But he has had great impact on both of our lives, and we're blessed to know and work with him for sure.
So much.
Awesome.
And I had heard him speak at an event just as a guest speaker, and bought a book and was hooked. The things he says are so simple, yet they're so profound that can be life-changing. And so he had a fan in me from that time. Of course, he would say, no, he had a friend in me from that time. But yeah.
I was like, my bookshelf. I was looking for my book. I don't have my other bookshelf in here yet, but we were just going in our discipleship group Monday night. We were going over the Law of the Compass. And that's out of, was it 17 Laws of Leadership? I think that book. And that was a really good one. So many good books. Oh yeah. Hey,
he's the GOAT, Jason. He's the GOAT, right?
He is. Before we get started, my office help, we have a lot of different partnerships with many different great companies. And tonight we're being sponsored by Encompass. Encompass is a supply parts company. And my man, Reggie Williams, he's got his own incredible hashtag. He's like a marketing genius. So lean on your rep. If you need some good supply parts for your appliance business, reach out to Reggie. Lean on Reggie. Your rep. Hashtag. Go Reggie. Well, let's give Reggie a thumbs up here.
Yes. Thumbs up, Reggie.
All right. So as we get into this tonight, as I said, I'm excited about this. This is going to be good. So we're going to start off by, what do you think would be like the best thing? Maybe start off with talking about your attitude in business?
Sure.
Okay, let's dive into that. What do you guys have to help us out here with this?
Well, now, I'm just going to interrupt, Macy, because right now I'm having a bad attitude because I didn't do something right when I came on, and it doesn't say my name, and I can't fix it. But I'm gonna make a decision to not let that bother me and have a good attitude.
Well, here, let's just do this, and I'll get rid of them.
Oh, okay. Now I really have a great attitude.
Was totally changed.
And just look at that. We actually just were teaching about it yesterday, Macy. I interrupted you. What were you?
No, that's what I was. That's okay. I was going to say that I think the most basic thing to think about attitude is that attitude is a choice, right? We get to choose what kind of day we're going to have, what kind of attitude we're going to have towards something, towards a person. It's always about our response to things, not the situation itself.
Yeah.
And I think we approach life and people kind of based on attitude, right? Like if you wake up in the morning and you think it's going to be a great day, you have a great day generally. And if something happens along the day that becomes a stumbling block, you look at it differently when you move forward with that positive attitude. If you think about people in your life, right? Those people who are those negative Nellies. We were just saying this yesterday, Macy, when we were talking about if you see one of them in a grocery store, right? Like, what do you do if you see somebody like that in a grocery store? You know, we had somebody in one of our trainings say, run over them with the buggy, right?
Oh my goodness.
But it really is. Do you want to approach them, or do you want to totally turn and run? And your attitude really determines that, how people will approach you and how you'll approach people.
And just, attitude is something that is going to affect everything in your life, especially relationships. And we know that in life and in business, of course, relationships are so important. And if you have a bad attitude towards people in general, then how are you going to do business, right? You have to be able to treat everyone, even if you're having a bad day. And listen, we all have bad days. Things happen, but it's not about how bad is your day. It's how can I make this day great based on my attitude.
Yeah. That's good.
Can I add one more thought here?
Yeah.
It's when you think about attitude and you think about like the people that are listening tonight, right? They're business owners. They are people who are seeking success and significance. And there are a lot of people out there that have dreams and goals, and they're building their businesses and their lives. And they say that attitude makes a difference, but sometimes it is the difference maker in your success or failure.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it can really be the difference between having a successful business or successful relationship, like you just said, Macy.
And also as we think about empowerment, I know we're going to talk a little bit later about empowering our teams and people that work with us and for us. But if you allow someone to ruin your day, like I'm just going to use what Missy started off with as a silly example, right? She could really have let that whole, oh, my name is wrong on this thing. That could, I know it wouldn't with her, but it could affect someone's attitude. If she allows that to affect her attitude, she's being held captive by that. But there's so much freedom and you feel so empowered when you say, I'm not going to let so-and-so make me mad. I'm not going to be bothered by what so-and-so is doing today. That there's freedom there. There's empowerment there. So reclaim that by just choosing your attitude.
Yeah. And it's really an easy fix. I mean, I think I've already got it fixed.
Oh, look at that.
Thank you.
Hey, but now hers is so much bigger. I'm just kidding. I'm not letting it affect my attitude.
That's
Jason,
good.
what do you think about it? When you think about attitude and how it affects a business, where does your mind go?
Oh yeah. Culture is the first word that kind of comes to my mind, because we're big on trying to just constantly improving our culture. And for us, it kind of started with our core values. We completely redid our core values back in November. And that was the start of attitude changes in our business. And we fire by our core values, our core purpose. You know, I've got them right here on my shelf right behind me. It's a reminder every time I get on here, every time when our office, each person has the core values and our core purpose listed at their cubicle. And then in our training break room, they are big on the wall. So everybody is constantly seeing them. We're constantly going over them. Our quarterly meetings, we're using our core values, and we spend a lot of time in there. So attitude for me is a big part of our core values, right? And that aspect of it. So,
well, Missy, when we teach attitude, you often say that people are normally hired for skill, right? You hire someone because they can do a good job, but usually people are let go because of their attitude.
Yeah. Or a character choice.
Right. They didn't forget how to do the thing that they were hired for, right? They still have the skill set, but now their mindset and their attitude is something that you won't tolerate.
Yeah. Well, I can train skill. I can't train a good attitude.
Exactly.
And so we tend to end up hiring more because of the attitude and because they do line up with our core values. And then we train on the skill aspect of it. Yeah. So for us, it's probably 80% attitude, you know,
and it should be. They need to flip that in corporate America and start hiring people based on their values, their mission, their attitudes, their character. And we would see a lot more progression.
Agreed.
For companies. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. So when you're starting that progression and then you've got good core values, your attitude is great, you want to do some goal setting, right?
Yeah.
And so we'll transition a little bit into goal setting. Let's talk about that some.
Yeah. One of the things that Missy and I really try to allow our clients to embrace is that setting a goal isn't about reaching a goal, right? We all can set goals, and a lot of us will set goals. And, you know, maybe sheepishly, I'll raise my hand. Sometimes I'll set a goal to cross it off the list, right? To check it off. Yes, I did it. I made it. I set that goal. But we really want our clients to embrace the fact that in order to reach a goal, you're going to have to do something different or else why set a goal? So it's really about embracing this idea of I'm going to become someone that needs to do different things to reach the goal, instead of, oh, I'm going to do everything I'm normally doing to reach the goal. So it's not necessarily about the setting of the goal. It's who are you going to become while you're trying to reach the goal, which is a flip of a script, I think, for a lot of people.
That's good. Who you're going to become while you're reaching your goal. That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
Jot that one down. I'm going to use that in my next quarterly meeting, I think.
It's a good one. It's a good one. And if you think about it, it's true. In any goal that you want to reach, it's about becoming the person that can do that.
Maybe we'll come to your quarterly meeting. We'll teach on it for you, Jason.
Yep. It'd be good. I'll get the dates for you. We're going to set that up sometime. That'd be kind of cool.
The other thing,
be fun.
Yeah. The other thing too, I think, is that people set goals oftentimes that they can reach, right? Because we want that that joy of that experience of completing something. But really, goals should be a stretch.
Yeah.
And especially if there's people that are in sales that are watching, like it's okay to have a goal that you could meet, but we always tell our clients that are in sales, you need a stretch goal, because again, it's about what things can you do differently. And we really encourage our folks to celebrate every step of the way.
That's what I was about to say. Celebrate those little milestones along the way. Don't wait until you reach that big, hairy, audacious goal.
For sure.
Find little increments of success along the way and celebrate those.
And if you don't, oh, sorry, Jason, I was just going to say one other thing. If you don't reach the goal in your reflection time, which we know is so important, what could I have done different? What should I have done different? Why didn't I reach the goal? What obstacles or what opportunities were in front of me that maybe I just missed?
Yeah. A lot of our clients and all the appliance guys and gals watching this, we talk about this a lot on the Service Alliance group, and talking about our 10-year, right? So your 10-year, 5-year, 3-year, 1 year, and even down to 90-day rocks. We call them rocks. So 90-day rocks, what are you working on in the next 90 days to get you to the next year, to get you to the next 3 years, to the 5 years, to the 10 years? So in November, December last year, we redid our 10-year vision for our company and put it really big. It's, I don't know, 6 foot, 8 foot big by like 3 foot in our training room, so everybody can see it. And even new hires, when they come in and they see this, and we get the opportunity to talk with them about it. Hey, this is where we plan on being in 10 years. And, tell them about different parts of this team and where can they see themselves in this? Where's a place that we can put you into this in the next 10 years? And so that helps them from the very get-go kind of see what our goals are and our vision is. And it's pretty interesting. We have people from time to time that they start out with this, and within 60, 90 days, they're like, what do I need to do to be here instead of where I'm at? And so then we get that opportunity to have that conversation with them and start working with them and training in that aspect. So goal setting is definitely huge in many different ways.
Well, I love how you were talking about, you have the big goal, the 10-year goal, and you back it out. Because what Macy and I find happens with a lot of our clients is they have that big goal, and then they get caught in what John calls like the expectation gap, right? Like you're heading in it, you've got all the moving parts, and all of a sudden you look around and you say, I thought it would be easier than this. Right. And then they get stuck, and being stuck stinks. And they're not sure then how to keep moving toward that big, hairy, audacious goal, because they get stuck in the muck of the everyday, thinking it would be easier.
For us, it's that every quarterly meeting we do, we call our State of the Onion address. And at first I was like totally against onion, but Andy, our CEO, he was like, okay, here's the reason for the onion. He goes, an onion has many layers, and as you peel it back, the center of the onion that's where the most taste is, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, I get it. We'll run with it. But
I can never do that. I hate onions.
Yeah, me too. Me too. But at every quarterly meeting, we will look at, okay, here's where we have been. Okay, now we're going to stop focusing on that. Here's where we're projected at for the next 90 days. Here's what we're going to be working on. Then the next year, the next 3 years. And then we always remind them of the big vision for 10 years out. So that's every quarterly meeting. So we're constantly putting those goals in front of them.
I love what you said, Jason, especially with your new hires, but I imagine that you do this with all of your folks, is that you let them know where they fit in to that goal, because everybody wants to be a part of something. So if you have a team goal, a company goal, everybody should know what part they play in that, so that everybody's bought in and they're excited, and what are they going to get when they reach the goal, right? And we've used this with clients that have big companies that have janitors. Like, how does the janitor fall into your goal? Right?
Because he does.
He does.
Right?
And if
he absolutely does.
If he knows where he falls into it, part of the cleanup crew, right? If he knows what that means to your client, to your end user, then he could get excited about it. And then if you could reward him some way when you're rewarding everybody when they reach the goal, we believe in celebration and rewards. That's
And we're getting some
motivates people.
good comments in here. So Joe O'Grady, he's a business coach, Service Profit Group down in Florida, actually. Always set a stretch goal.
Yes.
And we were talking about EOS because he's big into EOS, implementing EOS. So entrepreneurial operating systems. So we're an EOS company.
Okay.
And 10-year. Yep. JoJo's talking about 10-year and BHAG, big hairy, audacious goals.
Yeah.
I think that's a Darren Hardy.
I think it might be
a Darren Hardy thing.
And I was just going to respond to Joe as you know, a lot of people when we're in teaching, they don't even
know what a stretch
goal is.
Yeah.
So it's fascinating to us that they would just kind of set a goal, and if they made it, great. And you know, what else are you working on? What else? So what was the quote, Mayce, talking about quotes that we saw just yesterday? I shared it with you. Successful people are always thinking about
what else
next. What else can I do?
What more should I be doing?
Right. What more should I be doing?
That's that entrepreneurial spirit for sure.
Yes.
I that's one thing that I will say with my kids, my boys, and now my daughters, that they have got that bug from mom and dad. My oldest son, he's constantly thinking of different things and creating different things. And my youngest is right behind him. So,
which I think could be good, of course, but you just have to be careful of that shiny object syndrome.
All the time.
Because sometimes it's like squirrel, shiny object. Oh, I'm onto this one. My youngest
Macy's son's the same way. Yeah.
My youngest one has a great entrepreneurial spirit, but then when something goes a little bit haywire, now he's not. He always has a project.
Off to the next thing.
Yeah.
So growing yourself and continuous coaching. Let's talk about that a little bit more. So we've got a few coaches on here tonight, and then also got a few coaches watching, which is pretty awesome. Let's talk about this a little bit, because this one can be painful, because this is when it really starts hurting the pocketbook a little bit sometimes. And you can get a cheap coach, but good ones, they're going to help you get to the next point. You know, for me, Shane and I, we joined our first business group. Actually, Joe was one of the coaches as part of that. So I've known Joe since 2004, roughly. But so we've always had a business coach. And for me, I think you should always have a mentor in your life, in your business and spiritually, both. So business coaches, they're great. We've been parts of many. We've spent a lot of money over the years. But with my electrical company, I never would have gotten to the places I would have. And I probably still wouldn't have been in business after so many years had it not been for the advice of so many great coaches over the years.
Well, if you think about it, every great athlete
absolutely
has a coach, right?
Sure.
If you're going to be a great company, if you're going to be a great individual, having that person who can coach and mentor you, it's integral to success.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I always think of Tiger Woods and Michael Jordan, right?
Yeah.
Those two always come to mind. And Missy and I are not
I was going to say, which is funny.
But we always have really great sports analogies. We just don't do sports ourselves. But, those names are synonymous with, greatest of all time in their field.
For sure.
And they would not be where they got to without someone coaching them. And it isn't just the coach that for the game that they played, there was money spent, there was time invested. And it's interesting, Jason, you said it could cost people a lot of money, and that is true, but there's always a place to start. I mean, think about what you're doing, right? You're coaching through this podcast. You're allowing people the opportunity of maybe they're not in a place that they can or want to invest. There are a lot of great resources. And as you kind of go a little bit deeper, I think in your heart and in your gut, know, I need more. I need more than what the free resources are. There comes a place that you're like, okay, a book isn't going to cut it anymore. And Missy and I have been involved. We have coached a lot, and we have been coached a lot. I mean, that's just kind of a norm.
And I think it goes to that law of sacrifice, right? Like as it starts, maybe you're just sacrificing a little time to read that book or to watch that video. But the higher you want to go and the more you want to achieve, you have to give up to go up.
Yeah.
And, time, energy, money. But when you get that return and you see the victories that you're able to achieve, it's worth it. But I think even more so than that is when you then, Jason, you're taking all of your coaching, you've turned around, as Macy said, now you're pouring into people, because it's not really just about what we can do and achieve, but what then can we also help others do.
Right. It's that ripple effect.
Yeah, absolutely.
I heard, and I still use it today, learn it, perfect it, share it. I don't remember where I heard that, but I heard it many years ago. Learn it, perfect it, share it.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, you can use it. It's free.
Okay, I will. Hey, I'll try to remember that you're the one that gave me the quote this time.
Yeah, instead of a non.
A non or Confucius.
Yeah. So a lot of the people who end up watching this are mainly home service contractors. And so I will say that there's tons of free resources to get you going. Encompass has got tons of technical training. You've got Eaton, who is electrical. They've got tons of training as well. You've got, we jump on here and we do coaching occasionally. You've got this is a great source. Service Alliance Group. They have podcasts they do 4 times a week. And so there's tons of things that goes on there. So there's always something that you can do that doesn't cost you hardly anything to get you started. And then I always say, to get to those next levels, you're going to have to invest something.
That's right.
As you were saying a little bit earlier, Missy. And that's where I just had a heating and air company guy reach out to me, and he's to the point where I know I wouldn't be the best fit for him. So I actually recommended Joe, who was chiming in here a while ago. And so to get those two together, and Joe is, I always state, Joe is one of the best. He's been around forever. Not saying you're old or anything, Joe, because we're about the same age, but
vintage.
He's great at what he does, and he helped our company out, both of them, our electrical business and our my office help. So he's definitely a diamond in the rough. And so anyway, there's always that next step that you can take, and then you get to another point where learn it, perfect it, share it. So,
yeah. And I think it goes back to what we were talking about with goal setting, right? Like if you want to reach different goals, if you want to have more, you have to do more. You can't just do free resources and expect to be the best in your business. You'll be good, right? That's what the resources are for. But if you want to be the best, you've got to bring up yourself. You've got to bring up other people. You have to do things differently. I'm sure because every industry has them. There's conferences. I mean, there's always inspirational, motivational leadership type conferences,
mastermind type groups that you could be a part of. Yeah.
Things.
Well, shoot, even our church has got a business group that gets together. And so there's a lot of great information, a lot of brainstorming that goes on there. We have the Ethos at the Citadel here locally that has a great business mastermind. Russell Williams, he's the Maxwell Leadership as well. And so there's all kinds of different places that you can get involved for sure.
Well, you can't have uphill goals with downhill habits, and the habit of not investing in yourself. It's John Maxwell. Yeah. I know that one, right?
Yeah.
But the habit, right? The habit of not investing in yourself and not continuously growing, keeping yourself relevant, keeping yourself up to date. It's going to hold you back.
Yeah, this has been a challenging week technically for me because I'm learning several different new platforms, StreamYard being one of them. But also in our business, we partnered up with Sotellus, which is a review generating platform. They do video reviews and Google. So lots of that, going up in technology, always learning. So
I think it's good for our brain. It keeps us young and healthy and
continually
challenging us.
We're always asking ourselves, like, again, it goes back to that quote we were saying before, like, what more can we do, right? What conference can we attend? What training, just to keep our minds sharp, but also to develop ourselves so that we can develop other people. It's never just about us. I mean, we're not going to hold on to this knowledge. Whatever we learn, we're bringing it back to our business. We're able to pour into our clients.
So you bring up a good topic there. So Maxwell Leadership has got a lot of great stuff, but what other things have you done, Macy or Missy, to conferences or other trainings that you all have done that have been impactful for yourself?
I mean, we've had private coaches.
Yeah.
We've done that a lot. Like in the past 10 years, I probably had 4 or 5 different coaches for periods of time.
We recently did the positive intelligence. We went through that program. We were just on the phone this week with a big, a possibility of something we might do to grow ourselves.
We were looking at, So we just try to say yes and figure it out later. We're always looking. You know, I think there's just find someone. It doesn't matter really who it is. Find someone that resonates with you, that speaks your language. And then usually those people, just like John, right? Like he's got resources, he's got podcasts, he's got Minute with Maxwell, he's got books, he's got YouTube, but then he also has the conference.
Yeah.
So there are people that you could follow. You just Google them, you know, the greats, Brandon Burchard, Darren Hardy, Grant Cardone, they all have things, and typically they have a conference.
Yeah. We live in a society today where it's all around us.
Yes. And now with technology, the way that it is, you don't even really have to leave if you don't want to. I mean, Missy and I
be in your PJs.
Missy and I prefer to do in-person conferences, but if you didn't want to do an in-person, I mean, there's so many virtual for sure.
Oh yeah. In a post-COVID world, it's everywhere. You have no excuse.
Yes.
It is, but I'm going to say, I think a lot of people in the post-COVID world are comfortable now saying, oh, I'll just stay at the office and I'll just plug in and watch it, or I'll watch it over the weekend. But you've got to be around people who are like-minded, like-hearted, who are striving for goals, because you're the sum of the 5 people you surround yourself with. So if you're a business owner, right? And Macy and I've worked with some, and you look and you're the smartest one in the room, you need to get in another room and surround yourself by people who are smarter than you, because that's how you're going to grow.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. There's another good soundbite. I'll be using that one in the future. All right. So we're going to probably spend a little bit of time on this topic. Nobody wants to talk about.
This was coming. It's our favorite thing to talk about, isn't it?
Yes, we've done a lot of training on fear for sure.
A lot of people are afraid of growing. A lot of people are afraid of success. I, for one, was there for a long time. In our electrical business, since 1968, it's a 3rd generation business. And after 25 years, myself being in, my office help was doing great. I didn't need to do that anymore. But there came a point where, upon the advice of a business coach, we were to grow, get outside of your shell, get into heating and air, get into this, get into that. But we hadn't hit a ceiling with the electrical part yet. And I think where the failure came is that we hadn't really maxed out what we could have done. And we got into these other trades that I really didn't know much about. And I was relying on everybody else without a little bit of knowledge. I don't know, talking weird here, but somebody's listening. I'm sure that'll understand this and take it a little bit to heart. Be careful about growing, but fear of growth for me is, where's that ceiling at? And what's it going to take for me to hit it? And then how do I get out of that ceiling? I guess is another way to say it. Fear of growth and success, right? Maybe. I don't know. Help me out with this one.
So what I think about fear of success and growth is people like to stay where they're comfortable.
Yep.
Right. They want to stay in their comfort zone. So the fear of growing, those doubts that come in are the what ifs. What if I try something new and it doesn't work? What if I invest the money and I don't make my money back? What if I try it, it doesn't work, and now I lose clients, customers, friends, family members? What Missy and I say, and we will say this till the day that we die, that you have got to flip the script on the what if. Because what if will stop us. There's a million and one what if. What the question you need to ask yourself when you're what ifing yourself is, what if it's better?
Yeah.
That one question. What if what I do is better than what I'm doing? And that's, I think, the missing piece for most people. They're not asking that what if. They're asking all the fear-based what if.
That's good.
It's so true. And when you think about growth and you think about moving toward goals with your business, your life, etc., and you feel that fear. And Macy, we talk to people every single day, right? Who they want something,
Yeah.
but then they feel that fear, and they it's face everything and rise, or forget everything and run, right? That's kind of the two acronyms for fear. And so often people, when they start feeling that uncomfortable feeling that's fear, they're out of there.
They're out of there.
Yeah.
But what it really should be is a signal. It should be a signal like, right? Like this nervousness, a little bit of an excitement, like this is propelling me toward something, right? It should be a trigger of that you're probably on the right track.
Yeah.
And if you overthink it, that natural human instinct is going to be to keep you in that comfort zone every single time.
I can't tell you how many times my husband and I have said yes to things that didn't work.
Yeah.
Right. We've tried so many things that did not work, but it did not break us. We're like, okay, that didn't work. Like, what else could we do? What more could we do? What different can we do? And it just really leads you down this path of eventually finding the thing.
Yes.
But if you want to stay where you are, you're only going to stay where you are. And I know that sounds kind of duh, but if you want more for your life and for your business, you have got to get out of your own way.
Yes.
And that's when you grow yourself and you get in those rooms that Missy were talking about and get those mentors and coaches. And if you have those people around you, the right people around you, they're encouraging you, they're helping you, they're helping you see beyond the fear. But if you've got the wrong people around you, they're going to say, yeah, that was such a bad idea. Like, I would never do that. You want to make sure that you're surrounded with people who are growth minded, so that when you come up with this wild and crazy idea, they're like, okay, if that works, that's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, I'm right here for you to talk you through it.
Yeah. Success leaves clues, right? And Macy and I often, when we're teaching about fear, we talk about any biography or autobiography you've ever read. It has the same formula throughout. Now, we're not going to read autobiographies and biographies about people who didn't do something significant, right? There are people who had success and significance, but the plot of the storyline is the same every single time. Dream, struggle, success. Or you could say goal, mistake, failure, achievement. Because success and failure, they are two sides of the same coin. You can't have one without the other.
Right.
And
That's good.
But fear will hold you back from it until you're just stuck and you can't move beyond to see what's on the other side of those decisions.
Yeah. I mean,
One of
go ahead, Miss.
Well, just to wrap it up, kind of what I was saying, one of my favorite quotes is a newer quote I've learned, and it is, everything you want is on the other side of what you don't want to do.
And let me tell you, that quote's been haunting me for the past 3 days.
Uh-oh.
Oh, really?
Because I think it's so true. Like, everything you want is on the other side of what you're not doing.
Yeah.
And if you
know what's funny,
I had sat in that for 3 days.
Yes. We used to say it differently. We had heard everything you want is on the other side of yes. And that's something, everything I want's on the other side of yes. But when you flip it and you say everything you want's on the other side of what you don't want to do, or everything you want is on the other side of fear, then you're like, oh, heck no. Right? Like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's anything in life. I mean, even if you think about like fitness goals and health goals, right? Like, I know I want to be healthy, but I don't want to go to the gym, or I don't want to eat better. You want the health part, but you don't want to do all of the things that you need to do to be healthy. You want business success, but you're not willing to do all the things that you actually need to do. You want growth, but you have this fear of growth, so you're not willing to grow. I mean, it all comes back around where it is about really asking ourselves the hard question, what is it that I truly want? Do I want to remain where I am And if that is where you want to be, that's okay. Some people are very happy with the status quo, but most people that we know are not. And the only way you're going to get beyond the status quo is to really look fear right in the face.
So that brings us to our next topic and probably our final one of the evening, because time is going by quick. This has been good. Is empowering and trusting your team as you grow and creating the freedom for yourself as a business owner.
This is hard for people.
Yeah.
And fear is usually at the basis of it. They're scared to give control over. I mean, John teaches in Law of Empowerment, only secure leaders empower others. So don't you think it's fear-based, Macy?
It is fear-based. And if you ask someone, like if I said to Jason, for an example, like, why don't you give so-and-so? Why aren't you trusting them or empowering? You're going to give me a list of reasons. I'm scared they're going to make a mistake. I'm scared it's going to cost me money. I'm scared of this. What if?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. And we do this exercise with our clients and we ask them to really think about when they feel empowered, those feelings that they have. What are the feelings when you're empowered? What do you feel? I feel seen. I feel heard. I feel trusted. I feel valued. Okay, so you write those down. Ask yourself the question, when I feel empowered, how do I feel? Make a list. Then you need to ask yourself or tell yourself, when I don't empower so-and-so, I don't allow them to feel seen, heard, trusted, valued. So really, in essence, what you're doing is you're hurting them. You're not allowing them to feel those things that that feel so great, right? When you empower someone, not only are they going to feel amazing, we promise you will get some time back.
Yeah, you'll get your life back.
Yeah, that's good. That's like really good. I like that. I think I do this more for myself than anybody else, really, when it comes down to. I've had some pretty incredible people on this show, and it's like, oh, I got to remember that. No, I just got to go back and watch it again.
I just got to go back and watch the replay and listen again. Yeah, but it is 100% fear-based. I mean, there's no other reason why you wouldn't empower someone unless you've been burned in a really big way. But even that is fear-based. You're afraid it's going to happen again.
It'll happen again. Yeah.
100%. We've been there. We've been there a couple times actually. And we're to the point now where we have a really good team as you grow, right?
Right.
So I'm the perfect example of empowering and trusting your team as you grow, because we're to a point now, Shane and I are traveling more. We're doing more of the sales, marketing, lead generation. And we have a whole team behind us that's really doing all the work. And it's an incredible team, the leadership team. I was talking this week, I think it was Tuesday on the podcast with the Service Alliance group, how back in the day with just the electrical business, when we went with our business coach and we filled in the org chart, it was, okay, who's doing this? Shayna. Who's doing this? Me. Who's doing this? Shayna. Me. And we get to this point as you finally get to grow that it's like, okay, I'm not in all the boxes now.
Yes.
But then there comes that I have to trust the people I put in the box, which goes back to, how do we hire them?
Yeah.
Right, we're just running full circle
it's
here.
all a cycle.
And if you think about that 10-year goal, you can't reach that 10-year goal doing it all by yourself and having your hands in all of it.
Yeah,
right.
100%.
You're just never going to reach those big goals if you have to be the one.
Yeah, I had a guy.
Have your thumbs and all those pies.
Yeah, it's not always going to be perfect. I mean, there will be mistakes and burns and all of that along the way, but that goes back again to what we were saying earlier about who are you becoming? But who are you becoming? And what are you learning? We believe very strongly that failures and mistakes are only failures if you don't learn something from it.
Mm-hmm.
It's never a failure if you learn. So you have to ask yourself, okay, this happened, what I learned from it. What am I going to learn? What am I going to take away? That's why reflection is so important at the end of every day. What I learned today.
That's good. That's good.
I cut you off though, Jason. I'm sorry.
Nope, you're good. Your comment was way better because I don't even remember what mine was.
Can you tell we get a little passioned when it
Yep.
comes to
That's
fear
good.
and empowerment?
You got to have passion in business. You got to have passion in coaching. So
Well,
this
it's
is good
funny.
stuff.
We work with a client who has multiple locations, and we go in and train folks from the locations. And he talks about how he would have a manager who would do great at a store as long as it was small.
Yeah.
But as the store started growing, he ultimately would have to take that leader out and bring in another leader because it would stagnate.
Yep.
Because he had his finger in everything because he had a fear of letting go.
Yep.
And sometimes people can't empower because they're worried somebody's going to do it better than them. So sometimes it's an ego thing, Jason.
Ooh, ouch.
Sometimes it's an ego. You got to do
We've
that
seen
checkup
a lot
from the
of
neck
times.
up. Oh yeah.
We've seen a lot of times that it's an ego. What if that person does my job better? And what we try to tell people is, if they do, and you're not the boss, right? If you're not the owner, they're not going to let you go. Like I would think in most organizations, they want you to grow people, right?
Yeah.
They'll find something else for you to do. Like be the innovator. Say, God, I trained this guy so well, he could do it 10 times faster than me. What else you got? Who else can I train?
Who else can I help?
Who else can I mentor? Yeah. So I think that is a great point, Missy, that a lot of times it's people's ego. What if someone is better than me? Heck, train a bunch of people. Maybe you'll get more responsibility and you'll find a different area that, you could be passionate about.
It's pretty interesting because literally as we're talking, I have reminders set up all day and I have an app called I Am, and it just sends me stuff throughout the day. And literally as we're talking, it says, your biggest enemy is you. To take dominion over to take dominion over your life, you need to first take charge over yourself. So let's take charge over that ego. I think a lot of people who will be watching this, they're going to really identify with this one the most because we have a lot of appliance companies, a lot of electrical companies, plumbing companies who are wanting to get to that next level. And it's guys like myself who we did it all for years. We've done it all and we want to continue it all. And so many of them say, I don't want to do it, but yet, okay, how do I get out of the seat? And they're pulling the seat with them. It's like,
we know
gotta stop
a lot
pulling the
of
seat with
it.
you.
A lot of it has to do with you've got to have the right people in place. And we know since COVID, like hiring is a big thing. And we work with companies to help them identify like who should be on the bus and what seats folks should have on the bus. But once you can empower and trust, there's nothing better. There's nothing better for you as the owner, but there's nothing better for your people to feel that my boss trusts me. The owner of this company trusts me. We were just with a client yesterday, and one of the guys was saying, I know that my boss trusts me so much that I don't have the fear of making a mistake because
I don't have to run everything by him now.
Right.
Remember?
It's just their mindset, and then they're able to grow and do things. And then you could reach that 10-year goal, maybe even in 8 years. It won't take you as long when you have trusted people.
Wow.
And I think when you have that as kind of part of your culture, it never stops evolving. Then that person that's been empowered empowers someone to do something that they've done before. And you've just got this culture of people trusting and empowering and working together as a team to reach that big goal. Then everyone feels like that they own it. And look, when you have that kind of buy-in, there's nothing your team can't do.
No.
And guess what it all comes back to?
Attitude.
I'm going to bring it home for you, Jason. Yes, sir. It all comes back to your attitude towards empowering and trusting your people.
Yeah.
Well, you kind of know where I'm going with this because this hour has flown by. Oh my goodness. This is some great stuff. So definitely got to watch this again, and it'll be landed on YouTube forever and ever and ever. Amen. But all right, as we wrap this up, I'm going to get some music going here. Because I like to wrap up with some lightning questions as we bring this to the end.
But not like math or sports trivia.
No math or sports trivia.
We would fail.
All right, so no math or sports trivia. So I'm going to start with you, Missy. And you just think of the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay. So
Okay.
dog or cats?
Dogs.
Dogs. Okay. Macy, Mac or Windows?
Duh, Mac.
Mac.
I thought you were going to ask me macaroni or cheese.
I did too. I thought it was something about macaroni and cheese.
Missy, Chick-fil-A or Arby's?
Oh, Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. Okay. Macy, would you rather see out of your ears or smell with your feet?
What the
It's going to be weird.
I love
I
it.
guess smell out of my feet. I don't
You
know.
want to smell out of your feet. You're the first person that's ever said smell out of your feet. All right. Winner. And finally, Missy, would you rather spend 1 year at the North Pole or 2
No.
years in the Sahara Desert?
2
Yeah.
years in the Sahara Desert.
That's
There
a
you go.
no-brainer.
Yes. We were just in North Dakota and it was 50 degrees and we were like, take us south.
Yep.
South.
Well, once again, I want to thank Encompass. You go to encompass.com. You can see all their virtual trainings they got coming up, and they have some in-person trainings coming up too.
That's great
And,
that they do that.
Yes, we've been on there several times, and we sponsor a lot of their virtual trainings too. So reach out to my man, Reggie Williams, #LeanOnYourRep. And our next podcast, I will be announcing this shortly. I've got a couple of really cool people in talks with. But more so than that, I want to talk about next week. Shayna and I will be in Las Vegas for PSA, which is a huge appliance. There's going to be, I can't remember how many vendors. I want to say like 300-400 vendors there.
Wow.
And many of our partners are going to be there as well. So if you're out at PSA in Las Vegas next week, come see us, say hi. But ladies, I got to say, this has been incredible. And
So fun.
I
was
thank you so
fun.
much for joining me, and I would love to have you guys come to our office sometime for a quarterly meeting or maybe even something else.
We'd love to.
We would love it.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, thank
So-
you so much for having us, Jason. We had a great time.
Yeah. Well, before we end, what's one final thought that you'd like to leave our listeners with?
I've got one.
Okay, go ahead.
No matter what it is that you're trying to attempt, you can have results or excuses, but you can't have both.
Ooh, that's good.
That is good.
That's
All right,
good.
Macy, you got one
All
too. I
right.
know.
All right, I'm going to say it is all about everything that we talked about from beginning to end is all about attitude. And just remember that attitude is a choice.
Ooh,
Attitude
I
is
like
a
that.
choice.
It is a choice.
It is. Well, once again, thanks for joining me, and for everybody else, thanks for watching, and thanks for watching the replay. We'll see you next time.
Thanks.
Thanks for
Bye.
having us. Bye.
My pleasure. Like Chick-fil-A says, my pleasure.
My pleasure.